Is day 716, the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor a coming share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. We very greatly appreciate it. Today we're doing Simon, well, we should be doing Simon Tough Mem Vav, Steve Yud Beis, and Simon Tough Mem Zion, Steve Vav. But we did Yud Beis yesterday in order to finish out Steve Beis, finish out Tough Mem Vav. So they were starting from Tough Mem Zion, Aleph. They're going from Tough Mem Zion, Aleph to Tough Mem Zion Vav, which Tough Mem Zion is long Simon. Tough Mem Zion, Dinei Tarovas of Chametz Torah Pesach. The laws of a mixture of chametz on Pesach. Aleph halacha psuki. This is a decided halacha. Even though all prohibitions are negated and nullified in 60, chametz Pesach isur mashu. Chametz on Pesach, it's also no matter how small the shear. Ben shisar mino, ben sheino mino. Whether it's mixed up with a similar grain or such like, or something dissimilar. The three reasons given. Rambam explains the reason. The chametz have delayed chametz is something which become mutter eventually, and we know that davar sheish matir is not batil even in 1,000. Chametz is going to be permissible after Pesach when it's in its mixture. This is any other davar sheish matir. It's when the thing will actually become mutter afterwards, and this chametz is going to remain also. It's forbidden after Pesach because of a knas. It's showed by Arukh, Moshe's bara, because if you transgress by Arukh, as we shall see, that those who disputed the Rambam on this account. The Ran brought them as a Mishnah. Nevertheless, feel the Ram holds the Gamzemike Davar Sheish Matir, so it's called Davar Sheish Matir. Vavagav the Davar Shein Yesh Lo Matirin Shein Batel Ein El Bina. Moreover, even Davar Sheish Lo Matirin is only Batel. It's not Batel only when it's mixed up in a similar substance. The Lo B'Shlo Mina, now when it's mixed up in a dissimilar substance. Kosha Yor Deya. Sima Kufya base. Because the Rambam writes, Sham the chametz ichmiru, the chametz were more machmir. Av shelo b'mino, and they forbade it even if it's in a different type, the mixture into something else. Base varosh perkol shok kasav atam shechmir b'chametz. The Rosh wrote if the chametz in Neisha Torah yichmir b'chametz yesh misha sorry, because Torah was more severe by chametz than with other prohibitions. But the shechiva kares may you have kares, so not just a lav. Therefore, they were stringent in its bittul. That's in a mashu and sham. Many times they must speak. This is an insufficient reason. Also forbidden fats and blood. And because you get chorus with them, and never has to nullified in 60. So you have to say this. It means the gam isur ba'ira she'em b'chol yisurin. That he means also that there's an additional isur here about yeroy, which you don't have other prohibitions. And wrote the rooms because people don't separate themselves from it. In other words, you need to be more machir by chametz because people are too accustomed to it. Ayin sham. But Temash Rosh starts more. It kind of seems the Rosh contradicts himself by giving two different reasons. Therefore, it seems they need both reasons. The main reason is mishum dishul kares because it's prohibited portion of kares. What's the difference? Nevertheless, the people separate themselves from chametz they're not separate themselves. Now he says brackets. Well, if that's the case, in that case, but the Arukh HaShulchan throw himself a suggestion of Bal Yirah is unnecessary. Okay, I'm push Rashi. Sorry, the Chavtas base. Rashi says Rav Gaza b'chametz bismano. Shlomino, Rav forbade chametz during Pesach, even if it's mixed up with a different type. Atumino, lest you come to eat chametz in its own type, which is kares. That by them we don't see such a additional prohibition. Hasim dilimine there we don't have to make it also b'mashu because people separate themselves from it. Avo etc. Akashona. Related to the rush b'shnei makomos. This is at the rush in the two places. It's kares and lo b'dilimine. So we remain with the issue of course, the issue of but we knock out the Arukh HaShulchan's reason by Ruah that becomes unnecessary. Gimel, there's a difference in practical halacha, it seems. I know practical. Let's see. But halacha between the Ram and the Rosh. The Rambam, afilu chametz sukshik Rambam, even chametz sukshik chametz, which started fermenting, and the process was arrested. Sheisar ber Pesach, which got mixed on Pesach, in about the b'shishim. It's not nullified. Sheish l'matir. It's going to be mutter after Pesach. At least theoretically, if not for the knas, it would be mutter. Also, chametz got mixed up in matzah before Pesach, in a manner that isn't 60. So it's not a kazais within a k'dechias pras, so you can't be chayv chorus in that. The Torah says that he's started in Pesach, and this mixture itself got mixed into another mixture on Pesach. It's not bought on 60. Machtaima for the same reason, because Davishesh Matir. Have a rush, the Tamu Mishum Kores, by the rush, but the reason is an issue of Kores, then Chametz Nuksha. And the Tarovis from before Pesach are both, which should be Tzachlios Nuksha, but the Bashishim, should mostly find 60. Both of them came like a good Kores, because no Kores in them. Rovis Poskin is Kil Rak Tam Rush. Most of the Poskin only mention a reason given by the rush. Rashi because Rashi also way, as we saw the brackets at the end of Aleph. This will also be clarified further. It says in brackets here, Ayin Tas if Gonav Shloi Bi Rakti Ve Rosh Shliach. But it only brings the rush from the end of the Zoreh, the Lobdili in Sheminei. Because the Chametz Lukshin Tarovis can't come move on. That's the case also. Chametz Lukshin Tarovis will not be bought to even Belach. So it's called the Rosh B'Psachim, and he not mentioned in the Rosh B'Psachim Shuikar Tam, which is the primary reason that it's Chayav Koretz. Kavur Mirashi, as is clear from Rashi. Dalit. Oh, there's time, and there's also another difference between the reasons. The Tam Ram Mishum Davishesh Matir, according to Rama's opinion, it's because of Davishesh Matir. And in Nisare B'Tav Shio got mixed into a cooked dish. Miskaka Lachar Pesach, and it's going to get ruined until after Pesach. It's going to spoil. Mutter Shvi Bato Kambur Biradeh Simukut Beis Davishesh Matir, something which can become mutter later on. Lo Shayach does not apply. Kshiskaka Machlat Shutar, where food's going to get ruined by the time it comes mutter Ein Sham. As opposed to the rationale of the Rosh, according it would be usher no matter what, because of the current issue. So according to the first halacha was the kula to the Rosh and the chumrah to the Rambam. As well as the kula to the Rambam, the chumrah to the Rosh. The Rambam Poskim blew to the Tam Rosh. Most of the Poskim go according to the reasoning of the Rosh. Hey, v'da yishnoki dasa right v'varam ban barash bazal sesh chametz pesach also mashu ein el bachila v'lo bano. That the prohibition of chametz in mashu is only but to eat and not to derive benefit from. V'lo niskabel dvarim etzal poskim, but most poskim don't agree with them. That's Rashi Tesarif Rambam the gambano aser mashu. All the Rashi Tesarif hold it. Rashi Tesarif and Rambam all hold it. It's also bano even a mashu. Like the Rosh, like the Rosh and Ran wrote. That's a shiltus. Rabbeinu Tam. Chametz and Pesach b'shishim. No. There's the Rosh Kasav Rosh Ran. Period. They also hold that way. It's in Manotzas Mashu. But they have bring down Shadas Shiltus Rabbeinu Tam. The Shiltus Rabbeinu Tam hold like Ramban and the Rashba. The Chametz Pesach b'shishim. I assume for Anoah. The Dalchus Umeilach, they rejected this. The time himself did not rely on his opinion to pass the way Lamaisa. And this is Shalmei Bashiltus B'Mashu. And us, by us in the Shiltus, it says that's also Ramashu. When there's an additional tzad, an additional cheshbon, an additional rationale to allow this mixture. Even though we even by noah b'mashu, but in such a situation would rely on the Ramban and Rashban and those additional circumstances to permit bittul b'shishim for the purpose of noah. The Shabura writes that there's something similar, but he says to rely on the shiltos when there are many studying to be mako. Similar purpose, similar concept. Vav, Okosav Mordechai, so Perkim Avodah Zarah, Ran Sham. Mordechai ran right to call Yisra Noah, Shasurin Taroftan, Ba'anoah, B'choshu. Anytime you have an Isra Noah, that it's also no matter how insignificant the amount, Melchmei Isra Ibud, there is a patent, there's a trick to get out of it, which is that you take the value of the Isra and you destroy that value, because you deprive yourself of that Noah of the prohibited substance. Well, his name is Rashma as well. Rashma as well. Mordechai's conclusion is the low money that's not an effective tool. You find 1 grain in a rooster, sort of in a fowl, I guess would be more precise. So not call you burn everything. Rama says as follows: you have to burn everything. Chametz is not enough to redeem the value of the chametz. And Korah to sell the rest. She's partially but the vessels which they were cooked are mutar after Pesach and so shvir agol do not need to be broken. They're clay cheres or kasher if they're clay matchos or clay zluchis. They are okay. You're allowed deliberately to leave them over till after Pesach when they'll be mutar. Which I'm seeing to afternoon aleph. We shall see later on. So the Ram Steve Katan Aleph, he says in the brackets. The brackets here continues. The reason because have a nizar mashu chametz in Pesach. Well, then our Rizal says that if you're nizar from a mashu, you're careful not even a mashu of chametz in Pesach. You're secure that you're not going to sin the whole year. Alavai, alavai, alavai. Okay, the Shabbat says if you're leaving is after Pesach, you have to scrub it away, the chametz be'ein, that it should not be recognizable on them. On those kelim. Back to Arukh HaShulchan became a shas of halachas me'esel. It's not allowed to cast aside the value of the prohibited amount. Mimel dasim kolen Yehudi also can sell the whole mixture to non-Jew chutzim de chametz aside from the value of the chametz. The time of the mistaber, it makes sense. Can ikra dam b'chumras? It's the primary reason he machmir ularchikum misal is this you from a Korea's prohibition. Which you don't separate from yourself the rest of the year. If you give these leniencies, but come on, it's gonna the distancing will be overridden, as we understand. In the Yisar of Klei Chometz, if a vessel of Chometz comes mixed in the vessels of Pesach and a bottle. A bottle of David Dovshish within, because it's going to be mutter after Pesach anyway. Mishnah Berurah says, even if it got mixed up on Erev Pesach, before Pesach began, it's appropriate not to use these kalim. Even after Pesach. It's possible if the kalim are not b'nei yoimon, and they weren't used 24 hours before they got mixed up. Won't be even after getting mixed up. Doesn't matter actually. Whenever if they haven't none of them if they haven't used it 24 hours, that the next time we've gone, to give an off taste. The Mazvi knows the time we've gone. Mazvi knows the time we've gone. She's bar. According to those who hold that that's leniency by chametz, you can be make here as well. It says by kalim you can rely that 1 keli of iser, 1 also keli is bottom 2 keli of heter, as long as it's not after it's not ben yoma. Sharatzion writes that even if the kli is not ben yomo, it's not batal. The Shura says that if it got mixed on an Erev Pesach, you can be making in a place where, on account of Simchas Yontif, there's going to be a problem if you refrain from using even a keli which has not been yomo. So it's lenient, but only under certain circumstances. Okay, says the brackets. The Pri Chodesh says no, you can sell it to a non-Jew, except for the value of the prohibited substance. Zanek call a place where this goes against all the other achronim. Chok Yaakov you've gone based kankim maskim I say kodo, but Chok Yaakov also agrees. In this case of great loss, it's okay to toss the value of the chametz to a loss. Places to be lost. Vashar mutar on the rest permitted in a novel of achil, but not in to be eaten. Rabbis you come base, Rabbi Ardim, Kor Chaim come base, because The chametz nukshe may peros. If it's the type of chametz which is not a kares problem, no, or it's a may peros imayim, or if it's that was needed with water and with the fruit juice, yesh locha and shami can be lenient, evidently for no purposes. Ken yesh locha says you can pass away halacha l'maisa. That's for no purposes. FC Godel, the line throwing one away in order or throwing away the value of this or use it for no. Mishabur writes that if it's a place of Hefse Godol Ma'od, regular loss, you don't have to burn everything. You sell everything to the guy except for the value of the chametz. His name that where there is another tzad, another translate tzad, another rationale to be lenient. You're allowed to sell to a guy except for the value of the prohibited substance within.